Yes, we are live. I believe we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we are. Oh, man. Hang on a second. Let me just make sure everything is working the way it's supposed to. Let me make sure. I think we're good. We are good. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Unofficially IMO, the very first episode of our, well, I guess you could say a podcast on YouTube. I'm not really too sure yet. We're going to kind of play with this for a little bit and see how it goes in 2026. But nonetheless, this is episode one of Unofficially IMO, and I appreciate all of you guys coming in here and checking this out. And this is going to be the official pilot of this episode. We're going to be just kind of shooting a breeze, talking about what's happening in the world, all the latest and greatest in politics, entertainment, sports, you name it. We will cover it in all the upcoming episodes that we will put out on this channel. And yes, I invite you all to join me as we do so for the very first episode. So if you like what you see here, I am not necessarily new to this, but I am new to not podcasting, but I am new to trying out this very thing on this channel when it comes to podcasting in the way that I'm doing it here now, which is just talking about what's on my mind and just what's happening in the world. So if you love unfiltered content, if you love just me giving you my cold-hearted, blunt force trauma type truth, then I invite you all to hit the subscribe button, give my channel a thumbs up, and turn on all of those notifications so you don't miss any time that I go live or I upload any future content on this channel. But for episode one, yes, we are having ourselves one hell of a week this week, aren't we? We are talking about a few different things here. I do want to get into the news that is currently going on as far as we know right now. And as of recording of this video for this episode, we are also doing it live as well. So we are live and we are talking just, you know, straight from the heart, straight from the mind. And we're doing it off the cuff, just straight up live, straight up raw. So if you see me talk to other folks on this episode, it's because I'm looking at the chat and I'm addressing all the questions that might come my way or just checking out what other people are trying to tell me in the chat here. So Howard Man P7S Iraqi Diner. Not really sure what that means, but I appreciate you being here. Thank you. So as far as the, there's a few different things I want to get into with this episode. Okay. Again, this is a pilot episode. I don't know how it's going to go. I don't plan on editing a whole lot of stuff out of this, but, there's just things that I want to get off my chest and things that I want to talk about. So I decided what better way to start off 2026 than to go live and to hang out with all of you guys and to just shoot the shit, if you will. There's a lot of things going on in the news, and if you've been living under a rock for the last, better half of the last hour or so, you might have seen Donald J. Trump put out a post, and it's talking about some things that I know for a fact that is going to get a shit ton of backlash. And we also went in there into Venezuela and pretty much taken over the country, if you will. And we took out a dictator, which in my mind is not a bad thing. That guy had to go, Nicolas Maduro. So we're going to talk about the latest of what Donald Trump just said today. We're going to talk about Nicolas Maduro, and we'll talk a little bit about Tim Walz, our favorite person in Minnesota right now. So we'll have to definitely talk about him. All right, let's get into the wheeze of it all. Yes. And if I'm bad with your name, I do apologize. Sean Neon, the 402. Thank you for stopping in here and checking out the stream. Is the diner up? Is the diner up yet? I have been holding for 20 years. I still don't really know exactly what that means. You're going to have to forgive me on that. I still don't know exactly what that means. If you are new to this channel, guys, please do me a favor. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you are turning on all those notifications so you don't miss any time that I go live or upload a video on this channel. You're going to be saying or seeing me say that throughout the remainder of this live stream here today as well. And again, we're turning this into the very first episode of this channel. And you can call it a podcast. You can call it a whatever you want to call it. I think it's kind of like a podcast, if you will. It's definitely like a podcast. Dawn is in the house as well, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to all of you guys. Seriously, welcome. I appreciate you being here. What's the Venezuela housing market look like, Brian? That is a very good question. It's hard to say what exactly the housing market is going to be, but if Donald Trump have anything to do with it, then I'd say it'd be decent, to say the least. Decent. Lamborghini lover, you like watching Sean Ryan on YouTube? Sean Ryan, yes, I like Sean Ryan. Joe Rogan. Sean Ryan, I remember when he was just an itty bitty thing on YouTube, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, dude just kind of blew up, if you will. And I don't know how he did that. I don't know what caused him to become as big as he is, but he's up there with like Joe Rogan, especially Joe Rogan, Megyn Kelly. I think he's a little bit more political, obviously, than Joe Rogan, but he's up there with the big leagues, man. He just blew up, and rightfully so. He's good at what he does. He's a good interviewer, and he has a lot of good guests on his show. So yeah, I know exactly who Sean Ryan is. You have a great broadcasting voice. I am all in subscribing. That's for sure. Well, hey, Lamborghini Lover 69, just so you know, I am a Lamborghini lover myself. I also like Ferrari, and I'm a sucker for a GT 500. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you do subscribe to the channel, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. It's been one hell of a crazy day. It's been one hell of a crazy week when you think about it. A lot of stuff is going on when it comes to Venezuela. A lot of questions up in the air. A lot of just not really knowing what direction that country is going to go in. We had to take Maduro out. Nicolas Maduro was a brutal dictator, a narco terrorist. He had to go. He couldn't stay in power. He was running that country into the ground. Everybody knows Venezuela is a very poor country, has a lot of issues, has a lot of problems. So taking him out, I think a lot of people are okay with that. The problem that a lot of people are having, especially today, is they're saying that we are in war with Venezuela. Since when is Venezuela a war type fighting type country? When has Venezuela turned into a superpower that can withstand a military might such as the United States of America? It's never been a military type situation for Venezuela ever. We helped them. I feel, in my opinion, we definitely helped that country out big time. We took out a dictator. The people seem to be very excited about it. And everywhere you turn, everywhere you look, when it comes to Venezuela and the outpouring of just, it seems like gratefulness that country is having right now with the United States, they're happy. The people are happy. Are all of them happy? Probably not. But the majority and the most of the people that I've been seeing online, those people are happy as shit, man. They're happy. And people are generally excited to be able to not be in a dictatorship anymore, to be free, to come and go, and to, I don't know what that looks like in the future. But all I can say is the people are excited, probably the most excited that they've ever been in their entire lives. It's not a war. People tend to think it's a war. It's not. And everybody's getting it all twisted and messed up. And obviously, it's just another way for people to shit on Donald Trump. And speaking of Donald Trump, guys, let's take a look and see exactly what Donald Trump said. So this is from the White House several minutes ago. I am missing some folks in the chat. I do apologize. Twin turbo Huracan over here for the Lamborghini. Good choice. A war for 1 hour maybe, and then we won. William, I think that was the shortest war that I've ever seen in my life. We're hardly at war. If we were, it'd be over already. I agree. Not a whole lot of fighting there. Game changer talent. How do you know he was a dictator? What are you talking about? How do I know I was I don't have to tell you how I know he's a dictator. He's a narco-terrorist. That's all you need to know. If you want to know how he was a dictator, go do your research. Go and look up how he was a dictator, how he became in power. I'm not going to get into it on this channel, but he's a ruthless dictator. He's a narco-terrorist. He's been on America's Most Wanted list for a long time, too. A lot of people tend to forget that. Arrogant and idiotic with your comments. Listen, man, you can keep doom scrolling. You don't have to fuck with me. You can go and move on and go troll somebody else. But your comments will no longer be read out loud on this channel. Keep it going. His people said he was. The people that were there in Venezuela, that live in Venezuela, they're the ones that are going to know that better than anybody else. Go talk to anybody that lives in that country and go interview them and just look at their reaction. People are excited that this dude is out of power. They're pumped. They're ready to go. And that should tell you everything that you need to know. When it comes to Donald Trump, hey, he's the other guy that's hated in this country, probably more so than any other president that we've ever had in this country. It's because he doesn't give a fuck. When you have a not give a fuck attitude, no fucks given, then you're not going to care what people think. And he does it for the best interest of this country. And I think that that's a plus in my book. And when you have no fucks given as leader of the free world, you can say whatever you want, such as what I'm about to read to you right now. That pisses people off, especially when the truth is told. People don't like that shit either. As far as what Donald J. Trump has just posted today, within the hour, from the White House, I am pleased to announce that the interim authorities in Venezuela will be turning over between 30 and 50 million barrels of high quality sanctioned oil to the United States of America. This oil will be sold at its market price, and the money will be controlled by me as President of the United States of America to ensure it is used to benefit the people of Venezuela and the United States. I have asked Energy Secretary Chris Wright to execute this plan immediately. It will be taken by storage ships and brought directly to unloading docks in the United States. Thank you for your attention on this matter. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. Do you know how many people are going to literally take a ginormous crap on this tweet / post from the White House, from True Social, whatever it is? Do you know how bad of the amount of hatred that this is going to create for Donald Trump? But listen, who else to better control the situation in Venezuela than the United States of America? Okay? For him to go in there and say this after we just took out a brutal dictator, and to say that we're going to take over their oil. And people are going to get this all twisted, turned around, and they're going to say, hey, you're going in there solely because of the oil. That's the only reason why you took this guy out, because you want the oil. How do you know that to be true? How do you know that that's what America has been doing? To go in there and just take control over it because of the oil. The oil there, in my opinion, can be sold not only to benefit us, but also to benefit the people of Venezuela. Now, you're going to say that that's not true. People are going to say, you know what? He's only in there to take over this oil for himself and to make other people rich, including himself and these oil companies. And he's just, you know, he's going to sell it to other countries to make money, to prophesize on it, whatever you want to do, right? Whatever you want to say. But people, it doesn't matter what we do with Venezuela. You're always going to have people out there that are always going to have a problem with it. They're always going to have issues with it. For us to go in there and take over this oil and to have it, the last time I checked, like Venezuela has like some of the most amount of oil in the world, next to like Saudi Arabia and countries like that. Venezuela is sitting on a gold mine full of oil right now. And I think for us to go in there and take control over that country, it's going to benefit the people there. Okay. So a lot of people are just like, no, he's selfish. He doesn't give a shit about Venezuela. He's only in it to make money. He's only in there to get the oil and all this other stuff. I don't think that's true. He sees an opportunity to use this in order to benefit the United States of America. And like I said, the people of Venezuela as well. I just don't see a problem with this. And a lot of people are going to see a lot of issues with this. And the most amount of people that do have a problem with what he's doing right now are Trump haters. They're never Trumpers. They're liberal Democrats. And it doesn't matter what he does. Doesn't matter what he says. As long as Donald Trump is in power as president, people are going to hate everything that this man does. Period. It doesn't matter. Right. And I think he's at that I don't give a fuck stage. And he's always been that way for a long time. But now that he's been president, he's in his last term, he really doesn't give a shit. Okay. And rightfully so. You shouldn't give a shit. Okay. This is America. You can say whatever you want. It's freedom of speech. If you don't like it, you don't have to like it. But for him to come out there and say this, there's a reason why he's doing this. He's a businessman. He understands how this is going to benefit the United States of America and Venezuela. And people are always going to have a problem with it. It's just, it's mind boggling to me. I have not been looking at the chat because I can tell it's going off and it's hard to keep up. It's definitely hard to keep up. Bro, you keep repeating talking points. I never said that I was a pro at what I'm doing. I'm not a pro at what I'm doing. I'm just kind of shooting a breeze here. I don't have a script. I'm just talking about Donald Trump and Venezuela. Okay. So it is what it is with it, right? I'm just giving you my opinion on the situation. And if I repeat myself, okay, my apologies, man. My bad. You don't have to stick around. You don't have to stick around. You can keep on scrolling, keep on moving, keep it going, keep it going. I didn't plan this out. I went live and I'm like, you know what? Let's just have fun. Let's just have fun. Let's talk about a few different things. And that's it. Right. And also too, a lot of people tend to forget that it's my opinion and my opinion is mine. And when it comes to this opinion about what's happening here in Venezuela, I don't see a problem with it. I really don't. And you could disagree with me on that. You could disagree with us going in there and taking out Nicolas Maduro. You could think that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't see any problem with that. I think that was under the Biden administration where they were talking about taking him out and I don't remember what the bounty was on that. I think it was like, was that like $30 million or something like that? A bounty on his head. And who gets that bounty money? I think the people that took him out should get a part of that bounty money. I think they should. They should get some of that money. Do you think that's wrong? I don't think it is. I think they should get part of that money. That's just me though. But I don't know. You know, as far as Venezuela goes, as far as what their future looks like, I really don't know. I don't know what tomorrow looks like for the people of Venezuela, what next week looks like. I don't know. But if any country is going to go in there and take it over and to do what's right with it, I can't see another country doing it other than the United States of America. And the president of the United States that is overseeing all this stuff, I'd rather have Donald Trump doing it than some crazy Democrat in the office that is going to do God knows what. So I feel that from a business standpoint, as far as Venezuela goes, because you have to look, that's another thing that a lot of people don't really think about. When you're in charge of something, especially being president of the United States of America, I look at that as a business, and I look at that as opportunity to, you know, what's going to help the United States of America, what's going to help benefit us. Cause it's always been about America first, right? That's Donald Trump's thing, America first. But as of late, a lot of people are saying he's been more about overseas. He's been more about other countries first. Well, Venezuela was another country that he's been eyeballing probably for a while. He just so happened to execute it about a week ago. But I do look at this as a business opportunity, and I can't see anybody else doing this other than Donald Trump. I just can't see anybody else doing it. I really can't. And as far as I'm concerned, if you did have a Democrat in there, let's just pretend Kamala Harris was in there. Do you really think they would have executed this takedown of Nicolas Maduro? I doubt it. I really don't think so. I really don't think so. I feel that this never would have happened if Biden won a second term. I really don't think it would have happened. I really don't. I think it just would have got swept under the rug, and it just, you know, he would have continued to stay in power. But it's just, I don't know, man. It's hard to say what the outcome, because I don't know what the long-term outcome for this is going to be. I really don't know. It could be disastrous. It could be, you know, successful in the long run. What does it look like taking all this oil? Does America continue to build oil refineries there and continue to take some of that oil and help, you know, the United States with lowering gas prices? Did you guys see the market yesterday? Did anybody see the market? The long-term outcome will be disastrous. It's hard to say though. I don't know. I don't know what that looks like. I really don't know what that looks like. It might be good in terms of gas prices. I think that'll be okay. I really don't know. I really don't know. I feel that as long as Donald Trump is overseeing all this, I think it'll be okay. I really do. I think it'll be fine. As far as the people of Venezuela, so you have to also look at the people that are currently still living there. What does that future look like for those people? And are they going to have a re-election, which I think they are? Who's the woman? What was the woman's name that the people wanted her to be president of that country? She was just on the news the other day. I can't remember her name. She was a Nobel Peace Prize winner. Donald Trump didn't like her much. Like something about how she didn't resonate with the people. Venezuela owes us billions. Do they? Have you ever seen Gaza? Are you referring to Gaza, the country Gaza? The Gaza Strip? Iraq, Afghanistan? What about Iraq and Afghanistan? What's going on? What about it? What about it? See, game changer. I see you're going to be a problem. Actually, here's the thing. I'm not to listen. He just said I have zero critical thinking skills or whatever the fuck he said. The one thing that a lot of people tend to do, especially the doom scrollers, because we're currently live right now on the YouTube Shorts, so there's going to be a lot of doom scrollers that are going to find this channel. I want you to continue to hate. The haters are what make things great. If it wasn't for the haters, if it wasn't for the shit talkers, the keyboard warriors, the fat gutted, blonde banged, Cheeto eating type fucking people that have nothing better to do in their lives but to come in here and tell people they have zero critical thinking skills or no critical thinking skills or whatever the fuck he said. Those are the people that make people like me successful right off the bat. So, and you're going to keep coming back because you're the kind of guy or gal or whatever. You're the type of person that's going to be like, hey, that unofficially IMO guy, he's live again. I'm going to go troll him. I want you to keep coming back. Feed me more. Feed me more. Give me more bullshit. Keep shit talking. Because the longer you sit there and watch me and continue to come back and give me shit, that only makes me more successful. If it wasn't for the haters, people wouldn't be successful. So keep on keeping on, man. Keep on keeping on. I'll ignore you from here on out. I'm not going to ban you. I'm not going to ban you because I don't like doing that. I don't like that whole cancel culture bullshit. You're allowed to say whatever you want. I don't care what you say. I really don't. You can say whatever the fuck you want. It's America. That's the beauty part about living in this country. You can say whatever you want, but the haters, you have a special place in my heart. You really do. You really do. I want you to keep coming back. I want to continue to get under your skin and nag you and piss you off with my uneducated thoughts and comments. Yeah. So I appreciate you being here. Thank you. Woo! We got the haters in the house here tonight. I'm not successful. Not yet. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. And what's your definition of successful anyway? Everybody has their own definition. Is it driving a fancy car? Is it having a fat bank account? Is it having an expensive house, expensive jewelry, millions of subscribers on YouTube? Although we are working on it. We are working on it. Did anybody say, like, this is a brand new channel, by the way. I'm very new to this when it comes to news, politics, giving my opinion, talking about what's happening in the world, shooting the shit, all that stuff. I am brand new to this. Okay. So if I repeat myself or say something that you deem uneducated or I have no thinking skills, first of all, I don't care what you think. I really don't. I don't care what you think. I think it's funny. And the whole, like, you're not successful. I don't care if I'm successful or not. I really don't care. Everybody has their own definition of successful. To me, I'm rich. I'm rich because I live in America. I live in a free country. I can say whatever the fuck I want. I can piss people off with what I say. I can come and go as I please. I can do whatever the fuck I want to do. I can say whatever the fuck I want to say. And by that definition, I am rich. That's all there is to it. I'm rich. I'm successful. And I won the lottery, baby. I won the lottery being born in these United States of America. I did. And so did you. If you're from this country, you won the lottery because you can come in here and you can watch me. You can say whatever the fuck you want in the chat. You can say whatever you want. There's a lot of countries out there that you can't even do what I'm doing now without being thrown in jail, being sentenced to hard labor, being God knows what. So for me to sit here and say what I want to say about whatever the hell I want to say, I won the lottery, I'm successful, and I'm rich. End of discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, the whole Venezuela thing, it's a good thing for the United States. It's a good thing for the people of Venezuela. We're going to benefit both worlds. I think it's going to help this country become wealthy more so than it is now. I think it'll help lower gas prices. Gas prices are expensive. Regardless of where you live, they're still too high. I think they should be a lot lower than what they are now. And this is all just going to benefit us in the long run. What that looks like in the end, I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't know. But only time will tell. Only time will tell. My opinion is I'm an ignorant fucking fat capitalist pig and I love it. I love it. Love it. Hands off Venezuela. Listen, I mean, a lot of people don't like what we did there. A lot of people don't like what we did there. And that's your opinion. Me, I thought we just went in there. At first, I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, we went in there and took out a dictator that was wanted by the state of New York. And we took him out. I had no idea what that was going to look like going forward. It's looking like each day it could either get worse or it could be better. I don't know. No one knows. No one knows. We're just going to have to kick back and wait and see what happens. America. Sorry. America. Fuck yeah. Just ignorant and educated. Okay. Yeah. I'm uneducated. Got it. This isn't capitalism. I'm not talking about Venezuela. When I say capitalism, I'm not talking about Venezuela. I'm talking about America. America. I'm a capitalist pig and I love it. I'm a Republican. I'm fair. I'm honest. And that's it. That's it. Yeah. I mean, I believe in free will. I believe in freedom of speech, First Amendment, Second Amendment, Constitution of the United States, all that good shit, man. All that good shit. Happy birthday to America, by the way. Ladies and gentlemen, 250th birthday coming up for America. That's right. Team America. You better believe it. You know, the one thing I have noticed that if you say the right things when people get annoyed with you, you're hitting a nerve. You know what that means? I'm doing my job right. You don't like what I have to say for whatever I say or however I say it. That means, and if it bothers you, that means I'm doing my job. And if you keep coming back and saying more and more and more, that means you love it too. You're a fan. Just say it. You're a fan. You love my content. Come on, just say it. I want you to laugh at my ignorance. Yes. I want you to laugh. Keep on keeping on. LaTanya Smith, 350th birthday. Have we been around that long? I don't think we've been around quite 350 years. 250 for sure. That I do know. We've been around at least that long, to say the least. Who is this guy? You're looking at him. You're looking at him. How about this? What do you want to know? What do you want to know about me? You want to know who I am? Well, I'm a Donald Trump supporter, if you haven't realized, for the better half of, 35 minutes or so. Donald Trump supporter. I'm a Republican. I love capitalism. And I do not mind Democrats. I really don't. I really don't mind Democrats. Over the last 10 years or so, I've had quite an issue with them. But I don't hate Democrats. I don't hate anybody. I really don't. I don't hate anybody at the end of the day. I just think Democrats have lost their way, along with CNN and MSNBC. Along with CNN and MSNBC. They've definitely lost their way. I used to be an Obama supporter. I thought Barack Obama was a great president. I think he was probably one of the more smarter presidents of our time. And I just think I think he was a good president. Huge fan of Teddy Roosevelt. Love Teddy Roosevelt. A lot of people don't know that the reason why we have national parks is because of Teddy Roosevelt. He did a lot of great things. I can go on and on and on. Chuck Norris is a Republican now. He came out. There was a video a little while back. He was talking about it. He said, Democrats, like I said, I think he mentioned something along the lines of Democrats have lost their way somewhere along the line. And again, that's when Donald Trump came down the escalators at Trump Tower. Remember that? And then everything changed when he came down the escalators. Everything changed. I'm running for president. Yeah. And then that's when everybody had a fit. They had a total meltdown. But he was right. Democrats have lost their way. And I think he mentioned that, I'm just kind of paraphrasing here. He said that Democrats used to think how Republicans think now. And Democrats used to have that mindset. And then they just lost it. And it all started in 2015. Kamala Harris. Listen. For all of you guys in here right now, even the haters out there, I love you. I really do. I love my haters. I love my supporters. I really do. I'm not a bad guy. I might not be the smartest cookie in the jar, but I'm all right. Okay. Listen, for all you guys that are joining the channel right now, that's in the chat, I see you guys. I see you. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. That goes a very long way. Give me a thumbs up. At least give me a thumbs up. That does a lot of good things with the YouTube algorithm. It kind of helps push our channel out there to get recognized by other folks that might, come across this and see this. So be sure to subscribe and give me a thumbs up if you're enjoying the live stream here today. Even if you're watching my ignorant, uneducated ass, give me a thumbs up. Kamala Harris, if she would have ran, because a lot of people was like, yeah, she didn't have enough time to run for president. I feel like she would have had a much better chance of winning against Donald Trump if she, not just her having more time to run. I don't think that would have done anything really, but I feel like if she was to have her own agenda, her own thought process, her own way of thinking, and not somebody back here going like this, and having a completely different mindset on what she would do as president. But instead she went on The View and she was asked that question, what would you do differently as president? And what would you change? Something along the lines. And she said, there's nothing that comes to mind. And I was like, nothing, huh? You wouldn't change anything? I mean, you wouldn't change something. Give us something, right? Give us something. She had nothing. Nothing comes to mind. Well, you probably could have thought about it for a second and maybe not say that. You probably could have started out with saying, I want to try to fix our border. And this is what I would change as far as the border goes. And I think that would have made such a world of difference for her, but she didn't do that. She just said, nothing comes to mind. It's like, okay, there you go. And what sealed the deal for Donald Trump is when he was almost assassinated the first time, when he got shot in the ear. That's what did it. I thought he was gone when he fell to the ground. I thought he died immediately. But when he got back up and he did the fight, I was like, there's no way. He won. Whoever's running for president, just stop. You're not going to win. Kamala, you can't. You can't. I knew that was dude was going to win president. I knew that as soon as that happened. I knew that was going to happen. Like he's unbeatable at this point. Sorry, he won. Stay out of Greenland. I just found that out. I think that just came out a little bit ago. I don't know anything about what's happening with that. I really don't know the details. It's the statistics about Greenland. You know, we could probably just do a little bit of research before I talk a little bit more about that. But yeah, I don't know what's in store for Greenland as far as, I don't know. I don't know the details behind it. I really don't. She's no professional. She is too stupid. Donald Trump. I almost read that wrong. Donald Trump beats women every time. Well, he's 2 for 2. He's 2 for 2. He, Hillary Clinton and then, Kamala Harris. He wasn't shot in the ear, you ignorant goober. Where was he shot? It's all about the work and who does it. The Secret Service scratched his ear. Yeah, he had like how many guys jumped on him when that happened? It was like, let's see. He had his main Secret Service guy. Can't remember his name. You had him. And I think there was like 7 of them that just jumped on top of him. Obama 2028. Trump 2028 for sure, right? That pisses people off too, man. When he said, oh, I don't know, I might run again. I don't know yet. That pisses people off like crazy. Hey, like he knows he can't run again, but he does it. He trolls you. He trolls you because he knows people are going to run with it and say all sorts of dumb shit about it. So who's the dumb one when he says shit like that, or you thinking that he means that he's serious about it and he's going to try to do it again? Who's the dumb one? Who's the one that's going to believe that shit? It's the media. It's the left-wing media. They run with it. They love it. They love it. He is the most hated human being on the planet, so much so that he's loved. He is so loved by so many people. The people that hate, I think the people that hate him the most are the ones that love him the most. Those are the same people that will get down on their knees for this guy just to get a story. Like straight up. Like he lives rent free in the back of their heads, man. Rent free, and he loves it. Kind of like me. I'm going to live rent free and some of y'all's heads tonight that don't like my content for whatever reason. And you're going to think about me when you go to bed tonight. You're going to be like, that motherfucker is so ignorant. What a jackass. What a complete total ignorant asswipe. What the fuck? What an asswipe. This guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. You're going to fall asleep to my sweet little succulent voice in the back of your mind. That's what you're going to do. I appreciate your new house takes, but by the way, he'll probably try to run again. You know what? If he did, he knows he can't. But I wouldn't doubt it if he tried. But he says it just to piss you off. And he knows that CNN and what the hell's MS Now, whatever the fuck they're called, they're going to run with it. and ABC News and CBS News and all those other news networks, they're going to run with it. This because they got nothing else to cover. My thing is, what are you going to do in 2028 when he isn't running for president and then JD Vance takes over? Donald Trump's not going to be there. So what are you going to do? You know what they're going to do? Every failure of whoever becomes president next, if it is JD Vance, which it is looking like he's going to be the nominee. Come on now. Come on. Let's be honest. He's going to be the nominee. Okay. He's going to be the nominee. And every time he screws up or says something or does something, it's all going to come back to Donald Trump. Kind of like when Tim Walz was starting to blame Donald Trump for the reason why there is fraud in Minnesota, billions of dollars worth. And all of a sudden it came back to Donald Trump and racism. That's funny how that worked. JD Vance will lose in a landslide. I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know what's in store for JD Vance. I just know that if it's up against Kamala Harris and she doesn't come out with a very different mindset on what she would do to make this country great, he'll win. It doesn't matter who it is. And let's be honest, Kamala Harris is going to run again. So Gavin Newsom's going to run. We're going to have all these Democrats out there that you see on a regular basis. You might see AOC throw her hat in there. 2028 is going to be the craziest presidential election that I think we've ever had. Even more so crazier than 2015. It's going to happen. Hands down, it's going to happen. You're going to see some really raunchy shit coming out from the Democratic side because there's going to be like 18 of them or 200 of them. There's going to be so many of them that are going to throw their hat in the ring. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be chaotic. Just the amount of stuff you're going to see fly out of these people's mouths is going to be insane. It's going to be like, grab your popcorn. It's going to get nuts. Trust me. It's going to get nuts. Even on the Republican side, it's going to get nuts. People are going to go crazy when this next election comes around. I mean, it's going to be probably the most exciting presidential election that we've ever had. And in my opinion, I feel that JD Vance is going to be the front runner for the Republican side. And if Kamala Harris runs again, I don't see her going very far. She'll probably get about maybe halfway through the primaries, and then she'll have to bail. She'll have to drop out. You know what I mean? I think AOC has a better chance of becoming a front runner than Kamala Harris. Or hell, shit, even Bernie Sanders again. You never know. You never know. Never knew some. Who knows what's going to happen with that dude? If you want the United States to become like California, you vote for Gavin Newsom. You vote for Gavin Newsom. He's your man. He's your guy. He is your guy. Moving on from Donald Trump. I know Donald Trump dominates the news cycle. That's what he does. He's a dominator when it comes to politics. That's why I don't know what anybody's going to do when he's no longer running for president. What are y'all going to do? What are you going to talk about? That's why I said, like, if JD Vance becomes president, everything he does that they don't like, they're going to eventually credit that back to Donald Trump, because if he screws up, it's going to be Donald Trump's fault, even though JD Vance is in there. If he does anything bad in the mindset of CNN, MS Now, or whatever they're called now, it's always going to be Donald Trump's fault. Always. And it's probably going to be that way for a number of years. I'd say probably if JD Vance does win, it's going to be like that for probably the whole entire 4 years that he's in there, or 8. You never know. But it doesn't matter what he does. It's going to always fall back. Well, it's Donald Trump's fault. That's what they're going to say. Yeah, the whole politics thing, it does dominate the news cycle. And I know I've been talking about politics for the better half of an hour now, 50 minutes or so. It's just so dominating in the news cycle. That's all you hear. And that's not all we cover on this channel. We do cover a wide variety of different things. Sports. For all you guys that want to know a little bit about me before we move on to Tampon Tim, is that I am a huge Steelers fan. Now, that might piss some of you guys off. We're Pittsburgh Steelers fans in this house. We're all black and yellow all the way. We got our little yellow napkins that we wave in the air, every Sunday. Who said that in that commercial? What's his name? What was his name that did that commercial? He's a huge Eagles fan, that actor. Can't remember his name, but he was on that commercial for Uber Eats, I think. He's talking about Steelers. Steelers. So what if Steelers fans wave their little yellow napkins in the air? What was his name? You like Eagles citizen? Eagles fans in the chat. Right on. Bradley Cooper. Yeah, that's his name. Bradley Cooper. He's a huge Eagles fan. Huge. Did Elon Musk do a siege heel on inauguration? Oh, on inauguration day? Did he? No. It's I'm making us fire. John Harbaugh vomited a bit in the back of my mouth as a Ravens fan. Listen, y'all Ravens fans out there, listen. Baltimore should have won that game. The Steelers played like shit, like throughout the game, right? We were doing our thing in the fourth quarter, but Baltimore should have made that field goal. Had it been Justin Tucker, he would have made that kick. All day long, because he was a really good field goal kicker. And then when Chris Boswell went out there and kicked that field goal to be up by 3 and he missed it, you want to know how sick I was? How sick we were, my wife and I? We were disgusted with Chris Boswell. He hardly ever misses. I think that was the first extra point that he had that he missed, like all season. And he misses it against Baltimore. Then you have the rookie kicker coming in there from it wasn't even 40 yards. And I'm like, we're done. Our season's over. There's absolutely no way in hell. Oh, by the way, Chris Boswell, when he kicked that field goal, it was blocked. And that wasn't announced on national television. That was announced by the the sportscaster on the radio announced it. That's what we saw online. And I think it was number 38 or 39. Was it 44? I was going to say, it wasn't all that far. For a professional field goal kicker, that's not that far, right? I think anything, in my opinion, from 55 plus, that's difficult. But within 50 yards, that should be, I can't kick a field goal for the sake of my life. I'm just saying, for a professional field goal kicker, he should have made that, but he didn't. Kicked it wide right. That dude's probably throwing up to this day. Straight up. Ravens fans, listen, y'all should have won that game, but fate had other plans in store. So it just didn't happen that way. Yeah, Rodgers is 42 years old. He really is. Tucker missed a crucial playoff field goal years ago. It's rare. It was rare for that guy to miss anything. He was probably the best field goal kicker in the league. Every time he played, man, he was always a force to be reckoned with. He was really good at what he did. Ray Lewis. Whew. Yeah, there's a couple of people that we like on Baltimore. Ray Lewis is probably my favorite defensive player, next to like Troy Polamalu and all those guys. Jared Allen, all those guys. James Harrison, all those guys, right? But Ray Lewis, man, he was something special. He really was. He was something special. What? Yeah, stop talking about politics because, people know what the hell you're talking about, but Democrat. If I talk anything about Donald Trump, that usually tends to piss people off. But if I talk, if I would love to know if I was to talk about Kamala Harris or AOC in the same way with positive Uppbeat and, having a very good opinion about her or anybody that was running for Democrat. I wonder what kind of a support I would get for talking about those guys. But if I talk about Donald Trump in any way, shape, or form, regardless of what he's done or what he says or whatever he plans on doing, it's mixed reviews. It really is. It's mixed reviews. You're either going to love it or hate it. And I feel like he's the most hated president we've ever had. At the same time, he's the most loved president that we've ever had. You'll never see that again. I mean, this is it. This is history. You guys are literally living in history right now. Ray Lewis was the shit. Yes, he was. No, they don't play like that no more. They don't play like that no more. Ray Lewis, the days of Ray Lewis, that's gone. If you played like Ray Lewis used to play, I mean, you'd be getting flagged like every play. It'd be, roughing the passer, roughing the kicker, all sorts of stuff, right? You'd be getting flagged every play. Every single play. Such BS. It's your opinion. I'd trade him for Reagan any day. No, they're not allowed to play like that anymore. If you play like that anymore, I mean, you'd probably get thrown out of the league. You wouldn't be able to play football. You'd be penalized. You'd be fined. You'd be loved by the fans because you're playing football the way it was intended to play. But yeah, you'd probably get kicked out of the league and you'd be never able to play football ever again. So that's gone. Those days are gone, and I miss those days. And the whole CTE thing and protecting the quarterback and all this other stuff, and you just can't play like you used to. It's unfortunate. The whole CTE thing, it's like if you don't want the doctor that came out and found that with the whole CTE thing, he was out there talking about what did he say? He said something along the lines of how do you avoid getting CTE as a football player? And I think he said, don't play football. And you won't get it. But if you play football, you get hit in the head a lot, which they do, your chances of getting CTE are pretty high. Pretty high. Donald Trump, COVID-19, over 8,000 people died every day from it. He played golf. I mean, what did you want him to do? What were you doing? What was anybody doing during COVID? It depending upon where you lived, that made a huge difference. If you lived in California, you could barely go out of your house without a diaper face. If you lived where I live, there was some relaxation on it. If you lived in Florida, it's like COVID hardly ever happened, I feel. If you lived in New York City, New York State, it just depends on where you lived and who was in charge, right? And the whole COVID-19 stuff was it was so chaotic and crazy and stupid, and just, the amount of data that we have on it now versus what we didn't have back then. It was insane. It really was. But it all just depends on where you lived and who was in charge, you know? I think the best place to still have freedom during COVID-19 was Florida. Ron DeSantis was not running his state like a crazy, out of control person, you know? I think it was, like I said, it just all comes down to what rules were going to get put in place that day, what was going to change, who was going to enforce them, and what businesses were allowed to remain open, what businesses had to close. The funny thing about it was a lot of gyms weren't allowed to be open, but bars were, and all this other crazy shit. It was just a whole big fiasco, in my opinion. Pretty sure it was planned, executed, but it went to shit the worst way. Yeah, I don't think anybody was really going to know what exactly the outcome was going to be for COVID. Nobody really knew. Nobody really knew. It's not even head-to-head. It's a collision, chance of wrecking your brain. Playing alignment is like a mini car accident. That is true. That's what the guy was, the guy that came up with, that found CTE was saying, that every time these guys hit each other, it might not look like it's much on TV, but every time they went helmet to helmet, even the defensive lineman players on the line that are blocking each other, just hitting each other in the head the way they do at that rate of speed. Like I said, it might not seem like it's much, but it's enough to rattle your brain and to cause a lot of injury, like you're in a mini car crash. So yeah, I mean, that's just how it is in football, right? And he did say, like, yeah, if you don't want CTE, don't let your kid play football. And the NFL was all like kind of hush about it. They don't like talking about it because, I mean, that's their livelihood. That's how the sport makes money, right? If nobody's playing football, the NFL disappears. It's gone, right? So they don't want to talk about that. They don't want parents getting afraid of it and not allowing their kids to play football. I think that's what where did I hear that from? Someplace. Like the NFL doesn't want to talk about it because that scares parents and not allowing their kids to play football at a young age. And then that prevents them from becoming pro athletes in the future because they're not playing football. My thing is, if you want to be a professional athlete, for me, and you want to make a lot of money doing it and potentially a lot of money doing it in the future, go play baseball. Like go play baseball. I mean, you can make a shit ton of money playing baseball, a shit ton of money playing it. The NFL, you're capped, right? There's salary caps, I think, and just all sorts of stuff, right? But in baseball, every time I turn around, somebody's making $500 million here, $100 million for like 3 years there. Like there's all sorts of crazy shit going on as far as like salary, the amount of as much salary as some of these professional athletes are getting in the sport of baseball. Go play baseball. If you want, especially if you don't want CTE or get hurt on, you know, at a high level like that, baseball's your sport. You know what I mean? Like baseball, well, I think soccer's kind of dangerous too, because a lot of those soccer players are smacking that ball off their head. They have no padding whatsoever, right? And this ball's coming at their head at like, I don't know how fast. It's got to be a high rate of speed, right? For that soccer ball to hit you. So, I mean, is there a chance of getting CTE in soccer? I don't know, but possibly. Who knows, right? Who knows? But yeah, I think if I had to do it all over again, if I was to play football, I would be on the defensive side, playing defense. And if I wanted to play a second sport, it would have been baseball. Just because I do generally enjoy baseball. I don't like watching it. I think it's boring. But playing it's a whole different story, right? So it's not that bad. And golf. Golf, you can make a ton of money playing golf. Golf's hard, though. It's not the easiest sport in the world. I think golf is probably the hardest. Golf is probably the hardest thing to do. That and hockey. I can't skate backwards. Can you? I can't. When's the last time you threw on a pair of rollerblades and went skating? You know what I mean? Yeah. And hockey is a whole nother sport in itself that's so dominating. Even to this day, I think hockey players are more prone to be more tougher and hit each other harder on the ice than football players do today. And I don't know what the salary looks like for hockey players. I'm pretty sure it's pretty low. It's not like I don't think it's like the NFL or the NBA. But yeah, hockey players, that's a whole different breed over there, man. Sports is like anything else. People have opinions without ever knowing what's involved. Yeah, I don't know the ins and outs of hockey or the salary of hockey. I just know that every time I turn around in baseball, somebody's getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars for like 6 years. And I'm like, where the hell did that money come from? How are you? What are you doing to earn that kind of money? Like, is this guy like the home run king? Like, I don't understand it. Like, it's just so much money that gets thrown at these guys. And I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, how? Why? How is this person? Who's that guy from Japan on the Dodgers? We got about like $700 million for like 8 years or whatever it is, 9 years. Like how are you getting paid that kind of money? What are you doing? How are you that good at baseball that they believe in you that much to pay you that kind of money? It's insane. I played hockey. You're being hit going 40 miles per hour by somebody going the same speed. There you go. There you go. I think they wear more pads. And that puck is heavy as shit too, man. You get hit with that puck. I mean, I don't know how often do hockey players get hit with that puck? It's probably not as much as I'm thinking, but the stick and the way they let them fight on the ice and stuff like that. That's like the only sport that I feel like hasn't really changed much as far as like rules. The NFL has got so many rules anymore. It's like, it's almost like unwatchable because every time it's always a penalty call for unnecessary roughness or for whatever the fact. It just seems like the NFL is throwing flags left and right every Sunday. And I'm like, shit, just let them fucking play football. Damn. Hockey. Yeah, that's a rough sport. NFL contract. Oh, it is as compared to the MLB. NHL contract compared to an NFL contract is like an NFL contract compared to the MLB. Yeah, it's have your kids play baseball. They'll probably make more money and they won't get CTE. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to Nicolas Maduro. We did cover him a little bit. But for him to be taken out from the way he was taken out from the United States military, to be able to go in there and not lose, I don't think we lost any equipment. No soldiers were killed. I think we cut the power as well. I heard that we cut the power. So we didn't know that's like probably like their first like, oh shit, the power's out. What's going on? They probably had no clue that the United States military was coming in there to rain, total American badassery on Nicolas Maduro and his wife. They probably had no clue that we were coming, like none whatsoever. But for us to go in there and take him out and to bring him back as quick as we did and to process the mission as quick as we did, that just shows you like the brilliancy of the United States military. It shows you how good we are as from a military's perspective to go in there and do that. And what happened when we did that? What was the outcry? The first the first motherfucker that had an issue with that, I think it was Vladimir Putin, who came in there and like had an issue with it. And then you had the leader of China, President Xi. Is that how you say Xi? Yeah, it's President Xi. Or the leader of China over there. I think he had an issue with us going in there and taking out Nicolas Maduro. And I'm like, Vladimir Putin, of all people, had a problem with the United States military going in there and doing what we did. Like the sheer balls on this guy to come out and say that after all the shit that he's been through with Ukraine. I laughed. I couldn't help it. I laughed. I thought that was hilarious. But it seems like all the other people, the people that had these world leaders that had a problem with that, some of these guys were dictators, man. And I think the reason why they had a problem with it is because they know that we can do it anytime we want, anywhere we want for good reason, obviously. But for us to go and do what we did, I think it scared a lot of people. I think it really did. I think people looked at that and said, shit. I mean, they did all this stuff and they did it as quick as they did. I mean, hell, they could do that to us anytime they want to, right? I think they were just pissed off and scared. That's why they had a problem with it. So we could do, I mean, you do it to pretty much almost any country that's out there, right? There is no country out there. I worked with somebody a long time ago that served in the United States Marine Corps. And then at the time he was serving in the Coast Guard. And he was telling me, not Coast Guard, I'm sorry, National Guard, Army National Guard. And I asked him at the time, I said, is there any country out there right now that if war was to break out, is there any country that you would be concerned about going to war with? He said, no, we're not fucking scared of anybody. We're just not. I was like, why wouldn't you be? He's like, because there's no other superpower in the world that's as strong as power and as powerful as the United States military. There's no military in the world that can do it. There's no technology that anybody has that dwarfs ours. There's no military power that is stronger and better than we are. And he mentioned maybe China when it comes to like ground war. China is probably the only country out there that we would probably have a problem with going to war with if it was like a ground war, as far as like boots on the ground type deal. There'd be no way, because obviously China's military is that, I don't know the exact numbers, but it's more heavily populated as far as soldiers than the United States. So I think from a ground wars perspective, we were talking about it at the time. We're like, China's like the only one that's concerned. That concerns him if it was to be a ground war. He's like, we don't have to do that. It's not Iraq. It's not Afghanistan. There's like that whole boots on the ground thing. If a war were to break out, it probably would never happen. Wouldn't have to. We would just handle business from the air, from the sea, and use our global superpower as far as technology goes within the military to do what we had to do to handle business at the end of the day. So there'd be no reason for ground troops to even be on the ground, period, if a war was to break out. I thought that was kind of fascinating for him to say that, because I don't even know what sparked that conversation. They were talking about like the Marine Corps, and it turned into like, hey, are you afraid of any country if we were ever go to war? He's like, no, fuck, no. He's like, nah. Who would I be? Who would we be afraid of? Shit. Yeah. So we were told Putin was upset. That's what we were told. Like other world leaders were coming out and saying, we're butthurt that you did that. I saw our goalie when I was playing lacrosse, catch 120 mile per hour lacrosse ball at the cross. Damn. For 3 days? That sounds like it's not very fun. I don't think I'd want to do that for 3 days. Reagan sent 2 planes to Libya, blew up Gaddafi's house, and that was that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That was that. Yep. And it's over. Done with. Dictator collector cards. Everyone, we watched on the release of the limited edition card for that dictator. Do they still have that? Like, do they still have like the for the terrorists, like Ace of Spades kind of thing? Like, like what was it? Like Osama bin Laden was like the Ace of Spades or something like that. I don't know if we still have that way of identifying, terrorists and just people that were on America's Most Wanted when it came to that. America. Yes. One of my buddies in the Air Force dealt with the missiles. He told us that the U.S. had enough firepower to blow the world up 30 times in 30 minutes or less. I believe it. I think the only other countries that would be very concerning as far as like going to war with, other than China, would probably be at this point, the way Russia has handled Ukraine right now, I have no worries none whatsoever when it comes to Russia. If a war were to break out with Russia, the way he's handled Ukraine, and Ukraine's not a global superpower, especially when it comes to their military. I mean, just watching that guy handle the war in Ukraine, I'm not worried. I'm not worried the slightest little bit. What's your stance on Greenland grab? I don't know enough about it. I just know that you won't need a passport to go there. If we were to take it over, you wouldn't need a passport. Do I think taking over other countries like this is a good thing? It just depends. I know we've talked about taking over like Greenland before. Fuck, even Canada was like trying to get it. Like, we were talking, like, he was like saying the thing about Canada there for a little bit of like becoming part of the United States, that whole thing there for a little while. And, the whole thing with Venezuela that we're seeing every day now. As far as Greenland goes, I don't know what's in Greenland that's so important. I really don't know. Do I think we should be going in there and taking over countries though? No, not really. That it just, like I said, it just depends on it has to be for very good reason. I'm talking like a very good reason, but no, we don't need to be going in other countries and just taking them over. But as far as Greenland goes, I really don't know the statistics on that. I thought Candace there. I thought it was Candace Owens. It's like Candace Lawrence. You are all nuts. I thank you, I guess. I mean, I don't know how to respond to that. Greenland's not important. See, I don't know enough about Greenland to have an opinion on it, really. I mean, it's obviously something that we've been eyeballing for a while, but like, what do we get out of it? What's the reason for it? I really don't know. I think if we did it, it would help them out. I think a lot of countries too. Yeah. If we were to help other countries do specific things, I think it would just benefit them in the long run. Right. It's like being allies with other countries. Like we help other countries in need in times of war and everything else. Right. So, I mean, I don't know, like, if you're trying to help out your neighbor financially or however, it's, I don't know, it could be beneficial. It just depends. Right. So that's that. I think it would help Greenland out. I don't know their financial situation. Are they in debt to America? Like big time, kind of like how we are to China. Our national debt is in so much fucking shambles right now. It makes me sick. The amount of money that our national debt is, that we have as far as the debt, as far as our country goes, is astronomically disgusting. And we spend money like crazy, and it pisses me off. It really does. So when I think about the whole Venezuela thing, like how much is that going to cost? And I know it's not going to be like Afghanistan, because that was full out war. That cost trillions of dollars. It's nothing like that. It's not the Iraq war. We're not at war with a foreign power. So there's no possible way that trillions of dollars will be spent in Venezuela, because we're not at war. And despite what people may think, it's not war. It's not a war. He's executing, as president of the United States. You can argue with me, or you could say it was illegal. You could say it wasn't illegal. Whatever your opinion is, whatever you think it might be. He did it because he had all the intentions of doing it, because he was able to, because he was wanted in the state of New York under the Biden administration. Like, hey, this guy is wanted. He needs to be taken out. He's a narco terrorist. Donald Trump just executed on that warrant and took him out. And people all of a sudden have a problem with it for some reason. I don't know why. Who the fuck is Candace? Candace Owens? I don't know if you're trolling me or not, but just look her up. We don't have to talk about Candace. We can talk about Candace on a different day, but She's getting a lot of attention lately. Like a lot of attention. I'm talking millions of viewers every time she puts a video out. She's very popular in the, well, she used to be I don't know what she is now. She was a big voice for the conservative movement on the Republican side. She just she made a turn for the worst. I guess that's how I can describe it. Like she's saying a lot of shit that's crazy. A lot of conspiracy theory type stuff. But she used to be pretty credible. She used to have, we used to really like Candace Owens. But ever since Charlie Kirk passed away, after his assassination, she has just went straight down. Straight down. Make some support going to war to waste more money on people and style smart. I don't know. I don't know what this is going to cost to go into Venezuela. I really don't know. I don't see it being like another Afghanistan as far as the cost goes. There's no way. There's no way. The question whether it was legal or not is still quite an important question, though, isn't it? It's like the fundamentalists of international law. I as far as like, I mean, you got to think that Donald Trump has obviously spoken to people that are very intelligent when it comes to this stuff. I mean, I highly doubt he would ever execute on something of this magnitude without going through some sort of, you know, wouldn't say higher power than him, but somebody that's much smarter, probably a group of individuals that understand how this works, and maybe lawyers, I would imagine, just people that are smarter than him, that understand the process. I'm sure he spoke to a lot of them, and they probably all said the same thing. Probably constitutional, like scholars, lawyers, any laws that could potentially be broken. What should we do? What should we not do? I'm pretty sure. I'm almost positive that he did do that at first just to cover his ass. But it does, again, it goes back to, it doesn't matter what this guy does. I mean, Democrats want him impeached. It's like every day it feels like there's always some sort of impeachment stuff being brought to get him out of office because they just don't like him. They hate that man. It's disgusting how much they hate Donald Trump. It's insane. Maduro Trump said, had the balls to do it and literally said, come get me. Well, yeah, I mean, he invited Donald Trump to come get him. Thank you for the invitation. That's what we did. We went and got you. And he said, come get me. I'm right here. Trump's like, okay. And we went and got him. It was an open invitation as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. Yep. No, somebody in the chat brought her up. I don't know who brought up Candace Owens in the chat. I thought I just looked at the screen name and it said Candace. I was like, oh, Candace. Oh, it's not Candace Owens. You know, a part of me wishes that someone like Candace Owens would come in here and like say something to me. I mean, when you're a small content creator on YouTube like that, you look at like major people that have big platforms on YouTube to come in and raid your stream. That would only benefit me. Like, yeah, come on in, come say hello. And I'm not like, we used to be fans of Candace Owens. Like Candace Owens was like I said, a big voice in the conservative movement. Her and Charlie Kirk, right? And they were like peas and carrots. And when Charlie Kirk just got assassinated, it just seemed like something, like a screw came loose, and it's like having trouble trying to torque that screw back and tighten that down. It's very loose. Something got rattled loose after Charlie Kirk died, and she just changed. She has said some really crazy shit, and not a lot of evidence to really back it up as far as I'm concerned. It's like, as far as my opinion goes, like, she's saying a lot of crazy shit, man. Just go back and watch her stuff over the last month or so. You'll see what she's been saying about Turning Point USA, about, you know, Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk's wife. And I think she like today, I think she said that Erica Kirk is like a robot now and all this other stuff. And I was like, I thought you guys kind of like kissed and made up. Like, why are you fighting? Like, what's going on? What the hell happened? Yeah, she did. She lost it. But yeah, we'll have to cover that on a different day for sure. So the whole Nicolas Maduro thing, guys, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what's going to happen with Venezuela. I'm hoping that's a really good outcome as far as taking all that oil or giving it to us as a gift over there. You know, is that something that we should be doing, is taking Venezuela's oil? I'm okay with taking it. If number one, it was given to us. And number two, if it benefits the United States of America and also the people of Venezuela, because you have to remember at the end of the day, the people that live there are very, you know, up creek without a paddle. It's a very poor nation. It's a very poor country. There's a lot of bad shit that happens in Venezuela. I mean, it's been ruled by dictatorship for years. A lot of bad things when it comes to Venezuela. Socialism out the ass. You know, it's just been a failing country for a long time. So I'm hoping that whatever we do, that the Venezuelans, the people that actually live there, are going to benefit from it as well. And I really do hope that country takes a turn for the better and it just becomes a better place than what it is now. Because right now it's just in shambles right now. So I think taking over that country temporarily for a while is probably a good thing. What better country to do it than the United States, right? And a lot of people are going to argue that we have no business going in there and taking over other countries. And I get that. We really don't, and we shouldn't. But given the circumstances of where that country was and Nicolas Maduro and that whole situation, it was bound to happen. And the only president that was going to execute on that is Donald Trump. No other president would have done it. I don't even know if JD Vance would have done it had he been president. You know damn good and well that Joe Biden, that administration, they weren't going to act on it. They weren't going to do anything about it. So it's just a matter of time. And I think Donald Trump was the right guy to do it. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens with Nicolas Maduro. My biggest fear with him is I think the judge, this is the last thing I'll say on this. The judge that is overseeing this case, I don't remember the guy's name, but Donald Trump, says he's a credible judge. Like he's a good judge. But I just heard the other day, he was 92. Is he 92 years old? I think he's like 92 years old. This judge that's overseeing this Nicolas Maduro case with his wife. That dude, my biggest fear is this judge, and God forbid this would happen, but let's just pretend that he passes away in the next year, right before this trial begins with him. And because it's in New York, I think, right? I don't know what he's in jail. I think he's in a Brooklyn jail, Nicolas Maduro and his wife. And if this judge passes away, 93 years old, shit. 93-year-old judge. This guy can die next year. And if he dies before the trial and the people put a liberal judge in there, let's just say is a Trump hater. Who is it to say that if that was the case, my fear would be that a liberal judge would come in, get voted into that position, look at the case and dismiss it. And then Nicolas Maduro goes back to Venezuela and he goes back in power. And it's like nothing ever changed. Right? Like that's my thing. That's just me. I doubt that will happen, but when you hear 93 years old, like, dude, I didn't know you were that old and you're still a judge. Shit. But because the media told them to be offended despite the celebrations, and not only the people that were excited from Venezuela, but also the people that were in Venezuela celebrating. So one thing that people tend to forget, that the people were actually celebrating this victory of taking him out as a dictator. The people there were happy about it. Just go watch. If you watch CNN, or if you watch MS Now, or if you watch CBS or NBC or any of those other stations that have a problem with Donald Trump, if you see them talk about this, they're going to show you protests against it. They're going to show you people probably from Venezuela that don't like the situation for whatever reason. You're going to see the complete opposite, right? And you're going to see him talking about impeachment and all this other shit. But if you turn it on Fox News, if you turn it on Newsmax or News Nation and all those right-wing media news networks, you're going to see people celebrating the takedown of Nicolas Maduro. You're going to see people celebrating in the street. You're going to see statues being torn down by Nicolas Maduro. You're going to see people that are generally grateful for taking this man out and preventing him from being in power no more. And there's a reason behind all that. And you have to look at that too, right? But if you listen to the Democrats, it's a whole thing of he had no right going in there. He shouldn't have done what he did, and impeachment and all this stuff that they talk about. It's just because they hate Donald Trump. Now, if that was Obama that went in there and done that, they would have been fine with it. If it was, Kamala Harris that went in there and did that, or Joe Biden, nobody would have had a problem with it. But since it was Donald Trump that did it, people are going to have an issue with it. Happens every time. What are you guys' opinions on extrajudicial executions on the Venezuela boat guys? You mean us taking out the drug boats? I think it's justified. I think it is. Why? We just take the boats out just cause, right? No. If they're carrying narcotics heading for the United States to poison our country, then yeah, take it out. Take them out. There's no reason for that to occur. The amount of drug overdoses that happen on a daily basis in this country, from the amount of narcotics that come from outside of the United States borders from other countries like Venezuela. Yeah. We don't want that poison in our country. We don't want that shit in our country. Take them out. There's a reason for it. And a lot of people tend to say, well, you don't know what was on that boat. We have no idea if it was drugs on that boat. You really don't think the United States of America doesn't know what's on that boat? You don't think the CIA or people that are there to see that, the drones in the air, the amount of just data showing that there are drugs on that. Like, we knew exactly what was on that boat. We probably knew what was going on that boat before it even got on the boat. We probably knew where it was coming from, what warehouse it was in, how it was packaged, who packaged it. Like, we probably know what type of toilet paper the narco terrorists wiped their ass with the night before they even got on the boat. I'm pretty sure we knew exactly what was coming on that boat, and we took out the threat. I think it saved a lot of lives. I really do. It saved a lot of lives from doing so. That's my opinion on it. I mean, that's a lot of people are going to have an issue with it, but that's just me. Innocent until proven. I don't think we had to prove anything. I think we knew what was on that boat, and we knew where it was going, and we took the threat out. Camera system on a Predator drone that was observing it has 40,000 resolution, 60,000 feet. Wouldn't doubt it, man. Like, the technology that's on those drones, it's probably, I would imagine it's classified. It's only on a need to know basis at the highest levels. So I'm pretty sure they knew. They had to have known. Had to. You just don't go taking out whoever's in. I don't care who the president is or who's in charge. You just don't take boats out that are in the ocean that are just kind of traveling wherever they're going to and just blow it up for no reason, right? There's a reason for that. And people just don't like it because Donald Trump's doing it. That's all it is at the end of the day. No, they're not fishing. I don't see them going trout fishing or bass fishing or tuna fishing. Definitely not deep sea diving. That's for sure. Or deep sea fishing. Including a predator droning for Americans without trial. They want to intercept the boat and interrogate them. I think there's probably no reason for it because they treated them like they treated those individuals. I think, in my opinion, they treated them like terrorists. And I think that's how they handled it. And do I think they knew exactly who those people were on the boats that were actually driving the boats? Probably. And obviously they had to have known because they took out the boats the way they took out the boats. So I think they really knew exactly who they were. Or then again, maybe not. They just knew that these people were narco terrorists that are getting on these boats and they're carrying massive amounts of narcotics to come into the country and poison the Americans, especially people that, like, if you talk to a family that lost a loved one from a drug overdose, ask them if they care if those boats were blown up. I would imagine that the people that lost loved ones to drug overdoses are probably not going to have a problem with that because they wish they would have had their loved one back that they lost due to a drug overdose for whatever drug it was that they overdosed on. They're probably not going to have a problem with it. They're just not. They're going to sit there and say, you know what? That doesn't bother me the slightest bit. It really doesn't. I think the only reason why you're seeing so much of this is because he's acting on the things that other presidents didn't either want to act on or were too afraid to do it. The difference between Donald Trump and other past presidents that have came before him, he has the balls to do it. He has the courage and the balls to act on it, and he means what he says, and he's going to do it. Whether it's right or wrong in the eyes of whoever you ask is a whole nother situation. Is it legal? Depends on who you ask. Is it legal? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure, like I said before, if it wasn't illegal, somebody probably told him, Mr. President, do not do this. It's illegal. And it will have massive repercussions towards you, more so than what you could ever imagine. You don't want this. Don't do it. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have done it. But he probably got the okay from other folks to say, you know what? It's legal. Do it. It's why we have a military. We're protecting the homeland. You know that whole thing when they put their hand on the Bible and they swear they get sworn in and they say I don't know the exact verbiage of it, to protect the homeland from all enemies, foreign and domestic. I think that's what he was doing. I think Donald Trump is the greatest president that this country's ever seen. That's my thing. And you'll never see this again. You're witnessing history. I said this earlier. You're witnessing history, and the amount of attention, whether it's good or bad, that a sitting president is getting, you'll never see that again either. He dominates the headlines every single day. People take what he says and run with it, so much so because they either love him or hate him, but he's in the press for a lot of different things. I don't think there's been any other president that has had this much push like Donald Trump. I don't think you'll ever see that again. I think that's gone after he's out of office. The cartel members are dying. I don't care. if they're treating them like terrorists, then they took out terrorists. I mean, that's just all there is to it. A narco-terrorist is a terrorist bringing drugs across our borders, and that's how they treated him, just like a terrorist, right? And in Donald Trump's mind, I would assume that he would be thinking that we don't negotiate with terrorists that are trying to harm our citizens, the people of this country. And he's working to protect the homeland, as he took an oath to do so. He's just acting on the one thing that he swore to do. And for some reason, people have a problem with it. It's really strange. MAGA has definitely peaked. You could say it's peaked. You could say it's went down. Some people have mixed emotions about it. I think the whole MAGA movement at its highest point is when he was almost assassinated the first time. I think that is what sparked the movement to push MAGA at a very high point. Has it went down since then? Probably. Just like anything else, right? Just like when America was united when 9/11 happened. I don't think we've ever been that united as a country other than maybe World War II. World War I, World War II. And when 9/11 happened, I feel like America was heavily united as a country. I think that was the last time. From both sides of the aisle. The MAGA movement's like a whole different thing in itself. But as far as like Donald Trump supporters that may have been on the fence, whether he should be president or not, I think once his life was almost taken, that's when I think a lot of people made up their minds and said, you know what? He's got my vote. And I think the MAGA movement was at its peak then, at its highest point. I honestly don't know where it's at. I still think it's strong. I think it is. I think a lot of people are still very much very supportive of what he's doing as president. Middle class economy. Things are very expensive right now. I'm not going to lie. They're very expensive. They really are. I do not doubt that. Actually, no, I don't. It's a fact. Things are outrageously expensive. They really are. They really are. I was going to get into Tim Walz, but we've been talking now for almost 2 hours, and I was going to try to turn this into a episode / podcast type deal, but I really got off track. So we may not do that until the next go, and I'll probably plan it out a little bit better. I didn't really have too much of a strict agenda. I did want to talk about Maduro, Donald Trump's tweet today or post on True Social, and I wanted to talk about Tim Walz. Obviously, that everybody knows the whole thing with the fraud in Minnesota with the daycare things and the Somalis, and Tim Walz isn't running for governor now. Stepped down, and he's no longer in the race for governor. And rightfully so. He shouldn't be running for anything right now other than trying to find a group of lawyers that will defend him in a court of law, because that's what it's looking like that could potentially happen if they start finding that he had anything to do with that, which it's looking like he may have. You don't have that kind of fraud go through your state and not know about it. The sheer amount of money and fraud at the highest levels of tunes of billions of dollars. You don't know that that's not happening as governor. There's just no way. There's just no way that you didn't know that was happening. I think he's lying. He knew exactly what was happening, and he knew that if he was to push back on it, he was afraid to probably be called a racist and all this other stuff. He knew exactly what was happening, and that's why he's stepping down, because he knows that, you know, the walls are starting to close in. Delete my comments. What are you talking about, Timothy? Middle of the class employer, and to let go 25 employees. It's sad. Oh, you mean you had to let go of 25 employees? That's never a good thing, right? That's terrible. Tampons. That's hilarious. Yeah, the whole tampon Tim thing, man. Who came up with that word? Was that Donald Trump that gave him that nickname? I want to say it was Donald Trump, wasn't it? The old tampon Tim. I think that was Donald Trump. Ten seconds of research on how much cigarette boat costs, and you will know. Like, what is a pack of cigarettes? Like $12. They're really expensive. When did he step down? Was it yesterday? I think he stepped down yesterday. He came out and he in a nutshell, he gave this speech, and he said that he can't run for public office. He can't rerun for the governor with this. I'm just kind of paraphrasing, with this shit hanging over his head and dominating his entire, run for governor, because that's all anybody's going to ask him about. And that's all anybody cares about is, hey, how did this sheer amount of fraud occur in your state and you didn't know about it? So, and that's true. It would always dominate everything that he's doing right now. It doesn't matter what he does, that will always be hanging over his head the entire time. And that's all anybody would care about. So that's why he stepped down. And I think he stepped down because, like I said, he knows that, the walls are starting to slowly cave in on him, and he's going to have to focus on defending himself in a court of law. No, he didn't step down as governor. He stepped down, let me rephrase that. He stepped down for running as governor again. He never stepped down as governor. I should say he stepped out of the race. My bad. He stepped out of the race of being governor. He's no longer running. So that's what's happening right now. What's your view on Ukraine and Europe? As far as Ukraine goes, well, first of all, the whole Ukraine thing is sad. It's very sad. That, in my opinion, should have never happened. And the only reason why it happened the way it did is because you had a weak president who Putin knew that he could go to war with Ukraine and get away with it for at least three to 4 years. And he knew that Joe Biden wasn't going to do anything about it. That's why he did it. And he knew he can get away with it because of that. For him to go after Ukraine the way he did, he knew that at the time, at least, he was probably thinking, I could take this country, no problem. Ukraine's weak. They're not a military superpower like Russia is and all this other, whatever the hell he was thinking. And he just probably thought he could go in there and take it in a short amount of time. And now we know that is not what's happening. He's having a very tough time trying to take that country. So Ukraine is doing everything they can to defend themselves, and, rightfully so. I don't agree with what Putin did at all. I thought that was kind of fucked up and on many different levels. He should have stayed out of there. And I feel that if Donald Trump was in office, he never would have done it. Abbey-gate in Afghanistan never would have happened. And neither would the war in Ukraine. None of that stuff would have ever occurred. So the whole situation is very sad. And I don't know how many thousands of Russian soldiers that were a part of all that have lost their lives. Same on the Ukraine side. It's got to be in the 6-figure range. It has to be. And I just don't agree with it at all. I think Zelensky wanted, he was asking Trump a while back for Tomahawk missiles. I'm like, you give that man Tomahawk missiles, he's going to use them, and he's probably going to attack Russia's capital, and that will really piss off Putin, and that would cause a major shift in that war in a very wrong direction. And I think Trump knows that, and that's why he doesn't want to give him Tomahawk missiles. because you can hit those. If our Tomahawk missiles can hit pretty much anywhere, right? And Zelensky knows that. Trump knows that. And I feel like he would use it and strike Russia's capital. As far as Europe goes, I don't know. I think Europe could have done a little bit more to try to stop that war, but I don't think they did. I think Trump is pretty much, I think America's the only country right now that is trying as hard as we are to get that war to end, unfortunately. Yeah, Putin did miscalculate the whole thing. He was definitely wrong about whatever he was thinking, that he can just go in there and take it over. He was sadly mistaken. I agree with that. Tariffs equals import tax. Yeah, the whole tariff situation thing, a lot of people are pissed off about. I don't know enough about how tariffs work. I'll be honest with you. I just know a lot of people call it a tax. A lot of people think it's just, a tax on the American people. And it just depends on if the employers raise, or not, if the businesses raise prices to pass the cost down to the consumer, obviously that's bad. That's not good. But I think there's a lot of businesses that we're going to eat that. We're just like, yeah, that's fine. If costs do go up, we're just going to, we're going to take the hit on that and that pass that cost down to consumers. But am I a fan of tariffs? Not really, no. But if Donald Trump's thinking that it's beneficial for the country, sure. Why not? And there's good in that and there's bad in that. It just depends on, what your opinion it is on it. You don't hear as much about tariff as you did when he was first running for president. When you heard the word tariff, it used to just piss people off so much. But it just depends on what the tariff is for. If you're putting a cost on China of a tariff to get your way, I don't know. I don't have a problem with it, really. I really don't. My thing is, I just want interest rates to come down, and I want the cost of living to come down at the end of the day. And if that means getting rid of tariffs to help eliminate that rising cost, then yeah, get rid of the fucking tariffs. You know what I mean? But if the tariffs are in place to benefit the country in some way that's going to help Americans, then I'm okay with it. I'm just not a whiz at tariffs and how it benefits us in the long run. I don't think it's good in the long run. I really don't. Tariffs are an import tax. It's a tax. Tariffs are a tax, and it depends on who decides to pass the cost down to consumers or not. I know Walmart didn't do it. All the big box stores, I don't think, did it because they knew that it was going to be bad for the consumer. Tariffs are simply taxes, simply put. Are you saving money if you keep on having to buy new shit all the time? I don't know. It just depends on. I don't know. People spend money like they're in Congress all the time. They really do. People spend money like crazy. And I think a lot of people are spending money on shit that they don't need, which happens on a regular basis, regardless of what things cost. I know that as far as the economy goes, people are still spending money. People are still buying cars. People are still buying homes. People are still Christmas shopping and buying things. As far as how they're able to afford those things, I have no idea, but people are still spending money. The real shortage is the competent carpenters. You mean in the private sector as far as being a carpenter? And competent tradesmen? I think like any skilled trade in this country, I think there's a short, right? So welders, construction workers, all that stuff. And 9/11 in 2001. Yeah. 9/11, 2001 in America. Yeah. That was a crazy time. It really was. It was absolutely insane. And like I said, I don't think we'll ever be that united as a country ever again. I think that was it. That was the last time. I don't think you'll ever see that again. It feels like every time there's a presidential election, or anytime there's a midterm or anything like that, it feels like Democrats become more crazier and say crazy shit. Same with Republicans. They say a bunch of crazy shit too, and dumb shit. Listen, so one thing about Donald Trump, and I've said this on a previous live stream, I don't agree with everything that man does. Let me just get that out there. Donald Trump says a lot of stupid shit. He really does. But I admire him for some of the shit that he does say, because he's not afraid to say it. Do you know how many people that don't say anything because they're afraid to say it? Because they're afraid of the backlash. They're afraid that they'll be hated for it, or be called something for saying it that they don't want to be called, maybe racist or homophobic or something like that. This man doesn't give a shit what you think. He's just going to say it. He is the poster boy of the First Amendment, is Donald Trump. Plain and simple. That's my opinion. He doesn't care if you think he's racist or whatever, right? He doesn't care. Okay. And I think if a lot of people had that mentality of like, say what you think, don't sugarcoat anything. Just, if you feel strongly and passionate about something, well, then let people know. Say it in the right time. Obviously, Trump just says it whenever the fuck he wants. But the whole Rob Reiner situation, I thought that was probably the dumbest shit that Trump's ever said or posted about, is when he talked about Rob Reiner and that whole murder of Rob Reiner and his wife. I thought that was horrible, and everybody did. And Donald Trump, when he said what he said, when he tweeted about it or posted about it on True Social, that was classless and distasteful, and it was bad. So I highly disagree with what he said with that. I thought that was like uncalled for, and it's just things like that, right? The whole John McCain thing. He had beef with John McCain. And they kind of went at it back and forth there for a while when John McCain was alive. And when John McCain came in there and voted no, kind of went like this with his thumb. Y'all remember that? When he was in the House chamber there going for that vote for healthcare, and he just kind of went, put his thumb down. That pissed him off. And he said some crazy stuff about John McCain too, and I didn't agree with that. Right? I thought that was terrible. So it's just things like that, right? But a lot of the stuff that he says, I'm okay with. And let me get this out of the way too. I thought Barack Obama was probably the best talker, the most intelligent president I think we've had in a long time. I actually admired Barack Obama as a president. I thought he was excellent. He was very classy. He's a very smart guy. He knew how to carry himself very well, and he was a good talker. He was a very good talker, and he just knew how to carry himself very well as president. I admired that. I thought he was a good president. I thought that Obama could have easily, because when he first ran in 2008, the whole change thing, I mean, I think that was like one of the biggest movements that we had leading up to Donald Trump. And then when Donald Trump came in, he just totally shook up the entire political environment like crazy. And then it just feels like everything forgot about like what Obama did with the whole change thing. It's like that went out the window, right? But like I said, Obama I thought was a good president. I thought he was. I can go on with both sides of the aisle. And I could agree with Democrats, Republicans, Independents, whatever you want to say. I can see both sides of the aisle. within reason. But when you hear some of the shit that these Democrats are saying right now, and the things that they're okay with happening in this country, you're like, what the fuck? What the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, you have like people like Chuck Norris says, I was a Democrat for years and I'm not anymore because Democrats lost their way. It's things like that, right? I think the last Democrat that I really liked was JFK and Barack Obama, obviously, but JFK. I just liked the way JFK, for me, JFK was a Democrat that thought like a Republican. That's how I saw him. RFK Jr., the whole never vaxxer or whatever you want to say about him, I thought that man would have had a pretty solid chance of being president once upon a time. Obviously, you can't compete against Donald Trump. He's a juggernaut of a candidate. You can't beat him. It's very difficult. And I thought maybe RFK Jr. might have been a good president as well. But see, a lot of people would disagree with me on that because RFK Jr. has said some things that people aren't, too happy about. He says some things that are unpopular with Democrats. So it just depends on who you ask. Oh, Dean, you think the stock market's in deep trouble? Why do you say that? Yeah, don't be afraid to say what you think. Obviously, don't be a total asshole about it, right? But if you feel passionate about something, say what you want to say, A narcissist president. Like eating cats and dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. You guys remember that? They're eating the dogs. I'm like, what? What is he? Why is he saying? Yes, cool, isn't he? Talking about Donald Trump. I think he's a really good president. I really do. Like I said, I don't like half the shit that he says, but I think he's a good president. Trump also likes to troll people. He does it because he knows that people are going to run with it, whether it's true or not. He knows people are going to run with it. That's why he says it. What, Obama just told you what you wanted to hear? I think he was a good. I think Obama was a very good. He was a good talker because he knew how to. He just knew how to carry himself as what am I trying to say? He knew how to read very well, and he knew how to articulate what he was saying very well. So I feel like that's what made him stand out, is just maybe the body language and just how he presented himself. And I thought he did very well with that. It's called Subsidies, Legal Kickbacks, and Bush Sr. as a CIA director as a Houston that day. Wow, really? Which most of the Democrats are Obama getting kickbacks from insurance companies to this day. I don't know the ins and outs of all that stuff. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. Subsidies and legal kickbacks. He actually had brain, unlike Trump. Listen, Trump's no damn saint. We all know that. And I think Shaquille O'Neal said this one time. He said, I think Shaquille O'Neal is a Donald Trump supporter. I think he knew Donald Trump was. I'm not really sure. I think he actually generally likes Donald Trump. And he said one time, he's like, listen, Donald Trump's not a bad guy. And I'm just paraphrasing here. I don't know exactly what Shaquille O'Neal said, but he said, I think Donald Trump just doesn't know how to talk right. He doesn't know how to articulate his thoughts, and he just says it. And I don't think he really thinks before he says things. He just blurts it out. So I think Shaquille O'Neal said something like, he just doesn't know how to talk well. He doesn't really know how to articulate his thoughts. And that's true. Every time he talks, you're like, shit. Like, what are you talking about? Trump has a, yeah, she had a brain on like Trump has a brain, 170 IQ. Is it that high? It seems pretty high. You can easily adapt to anything. Oh, you're autistic too? As well, I formed a persona to deal with people in public, but I'm an excellent tradesman. I can easily adapt to anything. I think that's a good thing. If you can adapt to change, which a lot of people can't adapt to change very well, they have a lot of issues with that. If you're able to adapt to it, I think that's a good thing. If you're a very adaptable person, I think that benefits you for sure. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is pretty much all I have on my plate here today. You don't think Trump has a 170 IQ? I honestly don't know what his IQ is. I really don't know. Cognitively, might be pretty high, maybe. I don't know. He always went back and forth with Biden on that. He's an idiot. Can't even pronounce anonymous. His college professor at Walton said that Trump was the dumbest student he's ever had. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. My thing is, for me, you don't become a billionaire by being stupid. I mean, you can say what you want to say about Donald Trump as far as like how he earned those billions in the real estate business. But you don't become a billionaire and stay a billionaire by being uneducated or dumb. Because I don't know any billionaires that aren't stupid or that are stupid and that are billionaires. You say whatever you want about Elon Musk. A lot of people think that he's a total idiot. He's not. He's just not. He owns all those companies. He's a very smart man. Donald Trump, yeah, he almost went bankrupt once, but he learned from his mistakes. He got better at whatever he was trying to do, and he became a billionaire, and he's been a billionaire ever since. Anything mechanical, electrical, structural, chemical, engineering, understand, and how to build it, repair it, fabricate it from new parts of metal, plastic, wood. That's pretty good, man. Operating machinery, many different things, including building cars, computers, etc., from scratch. That's pretty good. Biden was definitely dumb as nails, and all you have to do is look at 50 years of C-SPAN footage. Joe Biden never used to think like he did. He used to think very different. And he changed from, 20, 25 years ago. He's not the same person, obviously. It's all about let's go Hurricanes. Is that the Miami Hurricanes college football? His daddy gave him money. I think his dad had a little bit to do with it. Yeah, absolutely. Again, decades of C-SPAN footage, the super predator speech. Yeah, he's definitely changed. He's not the same person anymore. As far as like his thought process and stuff, obviously he's a lot older, but he never used to think the way he does now. And he used to think very differently. He used to think, it was old school Democrats, no nonsense bullshit kind of mentality. Joe Biden used to be that way. Then somewhere along the line, he changed on his thought process on everything. It's very different. Built homes and worked for many millionaires. I have never met a stupid one. You don't see them. You just don't. You don't become wealthy by being stupid. You just don't. If you've built a company, especially if you built it from scratch, you don't become a billionaire just by just doing things willy-nilly, right? And if you take something from nothing and you become successful at it and you build wealth from it because of something that you did, that you had an idea for, you put it in place and become very successful at it and you got wealthy at it, you're obviously a smart man. For me, I want to talk to millionaires and billionaires to like, how do I do what you do? How do I become a millionaire like this? What do I need to do? Tell me what I need to know to be successful like you. What do I need to do? And a lot of those guys are smart. They really are. Unless somebody was just kind of handed down to you from like a rich uncle or something, that's different. But that doesn't happen all the time. It just doesn't. Con artists are pretty smart too. It's just, yeah, that's true. Yeah, a lot of them are. They just know how to manipulate people into giving them money. And you see that a lot. Most con artists really think they're smart. Yeah, like Trump. Oh, so Donald Trump manipulated all of America. I think I think Donald Trump's a smart man. He just doesn't know how to talk to people very well. I think he's funny. I think he's funny. I think he's definitely a smart man. I think he's a smart guy. You just don't become in the position that he's in right now by being stupid. I mean, you just don't, you know? So, and the funny thing about it, before he became president, he had a lot of friends. He used to be a Democrat. He used to give money to Democrats all the time through donations and all sorts of stuff. It's just when he became president, he was hated. Everybody turned on him. People gravitated towards him. Yeah, I think they wanted change. They wanted something different. And he was different. Corruption. Yeah, it's hard to say, you guys. I mean, a lot of people have different opinion on Donald Trump and his presidency. It just depends on your thought process on the whole thing. But for me, I think Donald Trump's probably the greatest president that this country's ever had for a long time. And he's very different, and people don't like that. When you come in and you shake up the political environment the way he did, he changed the game. He came in and changed the game. He changed the way politics are forever. And he changed it in ways that a lot of people weren't thinking that was possible, but he did it. And he became president. I didn't think that dude would win president. I thought Donald Trump was going to lose in a landslide to Hillary Clinton. I was like, there's no way this guy's going to win. There's absolutely no way this guy's going to win. And he came in there and he won. He beat out an entire field of very smart, very credible Republicans and Democrats. And he won. And I think people just wanted something different. If people thought that this man was stupid, incompetent, not smart, corrupt, fraud, all these different things that they said about this man, if people really believe that shit, he never would have ran, and he never would have won the presidency. Hillary Clinton then should have beat him several times over. Kamala Harris should have beaten him several times over if people really thought that. But 60 plus million Americans beg to differ. They just thought otherwise. I think people were tired of the same old, and they wanted somebody who was going to come in there and shake things up and be very different. And that's what they got from Donald Trump. Trump is king. No kings. No kings protest. Yeah, Trump's he's a very different person. You'll never see a president like him ever again. I mean, this is it. This is it. That's why I don't know what people are going to do when he's out of office. I don't think anybody's really going to know what to do with themselves. You know, I really don't. Like, what are you going to do when he's golfing at one of his resorts and he's no longer president? I think that the hatefulness of that man will continue onward probably for the rest of time. If something bad happens to this country, or something bad in general happens on a massive scale, regardless of whoever's president in the future, it'll get blamed on Donald Trump. The fraud in Minnesota is Donald Trump's fault. Yep. It's all Donald Trump's fault. Just ask Tim Walz. I think he blamed Trump for the craziness in Minnesota. And why hate Donald Trump? Why? Why do you hate Donald Trump so much? I mean, is this one man is causing so much discomfort for people for no reason. For no reason. You know what's funny? That nobody gave a shit about the president of the United States until Donald Trump came along. When do you ever remember George W. Bush getting this much attention? Other than through the 9/11 and war in Iraq. When did any president get this much hate? This much press in the news? George H.W. Bush, George W.'s dad. Did he ever get this much hate? Bill Clinton of all presidents. The stuff that he went through, the stuff that he was accused of and all this stuff, right? Even on a scale, when you compare it to Donald Trump and the craziness that the hate that he gets as president, Bill Clinton didn't get that kind of hate. You know, name a president that was impeached twice and acquitted twice from impeachment. Name a president that was a convicted felon over 30 different times and still won the presidency. You'll never see that again. That's historic right there. To be tried in a court of law and to be convicted of all these felony counts and still win the presidency. You'll never see that. That's gone after he's out of office. The media does have TDS. It's a real thing. I agree with that. Your children deserve better. Deserve better than Donald Trump? Is that what you're saying? A billionaire or a broke-ass donkey? MAGA equals cognitive dissonance? Abuse of power? Media and the fake news? TDS? Yeah. His name is that's an idea JFK gave his life to prevent. I think JFK was like the last real Democrat. I think he was. His son JFK Jr. would have been a good president, but he was obviously, his life was taken in a plane crash. AOC couldn't list it, but it would be the judicial, the legislative, and the executive. Are you guys arguing with each other in the chat? I'm just trying to catch up with the chat here, guys. I apologize. Name a billionaire president that had 2 assassination attempts. Yeah, you probably won't. Well, I think that. Well, never say never, but I think any president that's had multiple assassinations on their head and that's a billionaire, you'll probably never see that again. Not for a long time. Not for a long time. And name a president that never took a salary. I mean, Joe Biden was a multimillionaire. He took a salary. Trump never took a salary. He doesn't have a he doesn't have a salary. He doesn't use it. I think he still donates it to charities. Oh yeah, AOC couldn't list the 3 branches of government. Are you talking about George, the first president, Washington? Wait, we're going way back. Way back. Yeah, AOC, I mean, you say what you want to say about AOC, but if she decides, we're not, I am not a fan of AOC, at all. At all. I think she's I never want to say she's incompetent to be president, because they said that about Donald Trump. And I thought Donald Trump was crazy for running for president. But the more you heard him talk, you're like, this guy can actually win. AOC, though. Nah. I don't think she'd make it very far. She would do good in the state of New York. And like, you know, all the liberal states and stuff she'd do okay with. But as far as like going up against another credible Democrat, I don't think she'd make it very far. I don't know. It just depends on who she's running against. I have no idea. I don't see her going. I don't see her being president. I really don't. But never say never. Never say never. Because I didn't think Donald Trump was going to be president. Here we are. I didn't think he was going to be president in 2016. I was like, there's no way. But here we are. Oh, did everybody forget January 6th today? Everybody forget today was January 6th? Is it the 5th year anniversary of the insurrection in Washington? Oh, AOC, Sandy Cortez. How does Mark Dice say it? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, AOC's got you think Donald Trump says some crazy shit? AOC says a lot. She says some crazy shit too. Listen, everybody in politics says crazy shit. Every politician has said some dumb shit on both aisles, Democrat or Republican. They have all said some really, really dumb shit over the years. It's just, I feel like Donald Trump takes the cake as far as probably being the most vocal president we've ever had. He's it. As far as like the stuff that he says, he takes the cake on that too, because he can't be controlled. He just says whatever he wants to say, regardless if people are going to agree with it or not, or if it's right or wrong. He doesn't care. He's just going to say it. Kamala, stop, like India's mother is an Indian national and her father is an Indian national, was raised in Jamaica. Yeah, her the whole thing surrounding that too is pretty crazy. I was like, yeah, I think you're more Jamaican than anything else. I mean, come on. So talking about the $2,000 payments. I don't know what's happening with that. I have no idea. I don't count that. I don't count on any of that stuff, especially like the whole COVID thing, and people getting that COVID money put into their accounts and all this other stuff. Like, I don't count on any of that stuff. I don't expect it to be there anytime soon, if ever. I don't see that being a thing. But if anybody was to get that kind of money put in their bank account, I mean, obviously that's good for us, right? I mean, it's money that $2,000 you didn't have before. Now you have it. But I don't count that as I should be counting on that to happen anytime soon. I just don't, if ever. And never depend on the government to take care of you, because they've done such a great job doing that for everybody that lives in this country. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say I appreciate everyone that came into the chat here today. I did not expect this to go as long as it did. I only planned on being on here for a good hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes ish. I did not plan on going over 2 hours. in tonight's live stream. I planned on having more of a schedule, more things to talk about other than Donald Trump. I see he's dominated this live stream. We spent a lot of time on him. We didn't spend as much time on Nicolas Maduro or Tim Walz here today. Going forward, we'll try to be more narrow, or not narrow, more, what am I trying to say? More productive with our time during the live streams. Some live streams I've only had, I think this is like our third one now that we've had on this channel. Third or fourth one. I think it's our third one. No, fourth. I think it's our fourth live stream. I don't go live very often on this channel. It's like every couple of weeks I'll go live. I will start uploading more videos to the channel as well going forward. 2026, I wanted to be a little bit more active on this channel as far as videos go, and talking about all the different things that are happening in the world. And a lot of the things that I'm going to talk about in the future are just my opinion, and my opinion alone, regardless of anybody agrees with me or not. If you think I'm uneducated or you think I'm stupid, that's your opinion. You have all the free will in the world to say that. And it doesn't bother me the slightest bit. I think it's funny. But I invite those people to come back because, this channel's, I don't ban people for saying the things that they want to say. You want to come in here and say what you want to say? Hey, that's on you. Say whatever you want to say. Now, if you get stupid, I have no problem removing you from the live stream, but that's going to take a lot of crazy shit for you to be saying to me in order for me to do that. I mean, other than that, the First Amendment, say whatever you want, kind of like Elon Musk when he was talking about when he purchased X. That's the First Amendment platform. Say whatever you want to say without being ridiculed or canceled or any of that shit. I hate that shit when people start talking about canceling people for their beliefs or their opinions on stuff. That's like the worst thing ever, right? The whole cancel culture shit that we went through during the Biden administration, all those years, that was the worst time ever. It's just the worst time ever. So, but for me, I like having conversations with people. I like sitting here and chat with all you guys. And some of the stuff that you might say to me, I might disagree with, but we can agree to disagree, and that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But going forward, yeah, we'll definitely have more live streams. We'll have more talks, definitely more videos to come, and we'll try to be a little bit more productive with our time. I could talk all the time. I mean, with 2 hours, I haven't even got up to use the bathroom. I haven't got up to pee. I have no water with me. I can keep going. I am open. I'm very open-minded about a lot of different things. I could talk, baby, for hours. So, but I appreciate all y'all's time. Thank you for stopping by, saying hello. Come on, guys. Don't be arguing in the chat. Come on. Let's agree to disagree on stuff, right? Let's agree to disagree on some of the stuff in here. But just so you guys know, I appreciate you. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up. Like the stream, because what that does is it tells the YouTube algorithm to push our content out to other people that may not know that we even exist as a platform. And it boosts our channel to other people. So definitely give the stream a thumbs up. Turn on those notifications so you don't miss any time I go live or that I upload or when I upload a video. So make sure you're doing that as well. Little bell icon up there when you hit subscribe. Make sure you turn that on as well. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end this live stream on this fine Tuesday, January 6th, 2026. And until next time, you guys, be safe out there. We live in a crazy world. And we will see you on the next live stream, guys. Have a great night. I appreciate y'all. Take care.